This podcast is brought to you by nothing because nobody wants to support us. I just felt like saying this because that's really how most podcasts start these days. That's professionalism. Hey!
Hey!
It's
Larry,
another podcast.
That was kind of like, that was depressing. Like, it's just an episode. Nobody likes me. I just got here.
I don't know if anybody likes me because...
I don't know about you guys, but I just got here. I think everybody should fucking love me. I'm the Kim Kardashian of podcasts, bitch.
Well, I mean, I don't know if anybody likes us because the first episode is going up right now.
Like, literally right now?
Like, it has like 4 hours left to upload. So.
No shit.
But how dare they not support our cause?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do a Kickstarter.
Another Kickstarter? I told you last week.
Another Kickstarter.
No, because
Another
last week you suggested a Kickstarter.
Did I?
Yes,
Did
you
you really?
did.
I don't...
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
and
have the
told
disease from Memento.
And I told you last week that
You mean
everybody's...
amnesia?
What?
Everybody is too busy giving to Shenmue 3 right now.
Fuck
An
you.
action game. An
Fuck
action
you.
game brought to you by Yu Suzuki that is about a man who his father died, and that was a cliffhanger of the second game. Sorry, spoiler alert. Oh, hey, at least I told you what it was this time. So you want to get
didn't tell me anything.
And then the Penny Arcade comic hints that there is a cat in a forklift, and I think that's all the other details we need to know.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Seriously, you haven't told me anything about this game.
I told you it's an open world action game that's set in Asia,
You
and there's
did-
like a
Actually,
ton of fighting
I think
style.
I told them.
You did.
I told him
Congratulations.
that. We're
you
not
did.
the same person,
No,
Larry.
no, but
No,
just
no,
like a minute
Larry.
ago.
You
just
and Adam
a minute ago.
are not the same fucking
just
person.
a minute ago, I said open world action game, and you ignored me.
If it's not on the podcast, it doesn't count.
Exactly.
No, I know it
Reality
was in the
begins
recording.
and ends with the podcast.
No, in the recording. I swear. I'm not crazy. When the second episode comes out in July of 2017, I will show you.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So,
Real quick, I do just while we're kind of in the splendor of like post E3 now, I just have a couple questions I wanted to ask you guys. Were there any games at E3 that you may not have known about for our discussion last week and may have found out about since that you want to talk about that you thought were really cool?
No, but I would like to sincerely apologize because all last week I kept calling the long dark night, and I called that the entire podcast. And whoever's listening who knew about that, it must have driven you fucking crazy. And I'm so sorry. It's called the long dark.
Thank you. For
I screamed and cursed on the elliptical when I was listening to the podcast. Sorry, never mind. Let's move on.
Okay then.
I want to talk about one game real quick, and that is Unraveled. Oh God, I don't even know what it's called. Unraveled. It was the one that was shown off at EA, and it's like a mixture of Little Big Planet and Yoshi's Woolly World, and it looks amazing. And the dude so you play as this guy called Yarny, and you're this little like yarn guy, and so you're like going through the levels, and you're leaving your like yarn string like behind you, and so it's a physics-based platformer where you're like you can like jump up to stuff and like try to like catch your yarn on stuff and then like swing on it, and like it's so cool.
That sounds very interesting.
Yes. So that was like kind of like hidden gem that I found out about. Unraveled looks.
Do you know a lot about this game? Can I ask questions about it and not have you?
You can ask me a couple. I'll do my best.
Do you run out of yarn at any point?
To my knowledge, you don't.
Okay.
Yes.
I was about to say, is there like an object to that game?
So do you conquer the world?
I don't believe so. I think it's really hard to say. The guy
because I feel like you could do some really cool stuff with like infinite yarn.
Yeah, no,
you really could.
You could build an elevator to space.
And that's just like scratching the surface.
That's scratching the surface? Fantastic.
I feel like you could probably make like a Dyson sphere or...
Hey, you know what? I bet if you took the yarn and made an oven mitt, you couldn't scratch the surface. The surface, this time being a Microsoft tablet.
I want to make a very, very sincere promise for this podcast. I'm not going to threaten to kill Larry as much as I did last week, but Larry, I might fucking kill you. I might fucking kill you.
Larry, I am not threatening to bash your face in with a telephone pole.
I'm not threatening to go all Patrick Bateman on you and get you drunk and bring you back to your apartment.
Hey, spoilers! I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't.
Oh,
I've heard it's great.
It's one of my favorite movies. Like,
what movie is this?
American Psycho.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's the famous scene from American Psycho that everyone knows about.
Except for me.
I actually
Really?
somehow I don't know about it either.
Have you not seen American Psycho?
I haven't.
What the fuck? What's wrong with you? It's like, scarily enough, I watch that movie while I'm going to sleep, and I sleep with just American Psycho going on in my subconscious. Might explain a lot about me.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. Anyway,
Yeah. You want to talk about video games?
Sure, yeah.
You don't sound too excited.
I mean, I've been doing.
Yeah, I guess.
I've been doing so much this week that isn't video game related that I'm just not caught up on anything. So
That's fine. We can go over it.
I'm here for moral support.
So the first thing I want to talk about, and it's sort of like, I swear, we'll talk about this, we'll talk about E3 a little bit more, and then we'll like stop talking about E3. I promise.
I'm holding you to it.
During E3, there was somebody I should have been paying more attention that was interviewing somebody at Microsoft, and they basically said that Phantom Dust, the game that they showed off last year during their Microsoft's press conference, is not canceled, but it's also not currently actively being developed.
Sort of like it's not a sequel, but it's not a prequel, and it's not a remake.
So
is it in that realm?
It's a completely different realm, because that's like, hey, things are coming out. This is like, last year they showed a game, and they were like, here's a really cool new IP, here's a cool CG trailer for it, and we're not actually making the game right now.
was Phantom Dust the one where it was like, it had the trailer where it was like on a bridge and then the boat kind of like materialized in and scared the shit out of a bunch of people? Or was that a different game that just never came out?
No, that's Quantum Break.
Quantum Break, that's the one I was thinking of.
No, Quantum Break is still in development. That's the one that they said they're going to talk about at Gamescom this year.
Oh,
Because of course, like that was the thing almost most disappointing about the Microsoft conference was they ended it and they're like, Quantum Break, Scalebound, Crackdown 2, all going to be talked about at Gamescom. And I'm just like, I want to know about it now.
Well,
but,
they're dick teasing you there.
They are big time. But that's mainly though, there's not much to the story other than like this game was announced last year and it was like, hey, we're making this game, it's cool. And now we know that like it's not in active development, it's still on the table and it's not canceled, but it's not really happening right now.
So it's basically like the threat of nuclear war. It's always present, but not probably going to happen.
It might, it's just years away.
So Larry is more cynical in this like metaphor,
war.
but then also more optimistic at the same time.
A little bit. But I mean, my main question to you guys is just, is this the kind of stuff that you want out of E3?
I mean, I of course don't want that, but at the same time, it's like, I really, like, that's what I've come to expect from society, so I'm just, I'm indifferent about it, but on top of that, I really don't know much about the game that you're talking about either. I have no idea what you're talking about, actually.
It's like magic, and I don't know a ton because they only showed a CG trailer. Like, this is one where I'm not like crazy hyped about the game. I didn't play it. It was on the original Xbox, and now they're making a new version for Xbox One.
I see.
That probably falls into that, like, not a sequel, not a prequel, not a remake,
Just a reimagining.
It does fall into that, just a reimagining.
Okay.
But, I mean, the main thing is just, like, would you rather have a conference, like, would you rather have announcements like that where it's, like, something really cool is coming, but, like, we're not actually working on it, and it's years away? Or would you rather have somebody like Nintendo who's like, here is the truth, and here's everything that, like, by E3 next year, all of this stuff will be out, but, like, it just doesn't excite you?
I mean, you've literally, like, walked me into a room full of shit and said, which one is the solid shit and which one is explosive diarrhea?
What?
They're both shitty situations. I don't want either of them.
Oh, okay.
See, it's a good metaphor.
It was a metaphor.
It was one that didn't follow, that's for sure.
You followed it, right? Yeah,
Of course it did.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you. Some interesting news that I actually have is, have you guys seen any of the footage from the Xbox One Gears of War remake?
No.
I saw a little bit. That
Looks like shit.
Looks
like epic shit. I don't know, what is it? What are people doing these days? Like,
are there more chainsaws and more guns?
No, same amount. It's just the graphics don't look better. They actually look worse than they did in Gears of War.
Well, when is it coming out?
It already did.
Well, the beta's out right now. So, like, there's a multiplayer beta, which that was when I was telling you the other day where, like, Xbox sent me 4 messages, and they're like, here's a code for the beta. No, really, here's a code for the beta. Come on, man. Come and play the beta. And it's just like,
just go and play the beta!
It's basically what it was by the 4th time. It's
Sorry,
just like,
everybody. I didn't mean to.
Was anybody in this room a huge Gears of War fan?
I
Never.
played the trilogy, and I like them, but, like, I'm not, like, super crazy about it. Like I played it for the single player and never really got into like the multiplayer.
I was really late to the Xbox train, and by then I was kind of like already too old for Gears of War.
How can you be
already too old for the M-rated game?
Yeah.
But isn't that like M-rated, like air quotes M-rated? Like, didn't most people play that in like teenage years?
I mean, I did, but
maybe I'm just being a douchebag like everybody who likes Gears of War.
You might be. But on top of that, I've always associated Gears of War with being kind of a bro-y brand myself. Kind of like Call of Duty.
Hey man, we're gonna run around with these super awesome people with their chainsaw guns. Look at all the gore! And it's just
I think you feel about Gears of War like I feel about the new Doom. Where I watched that and I was like, I don't want this at all.
I think I saw one of my friends playing it before I had an Xbox 360 and it looked cool. And the story's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's like bug things that like lived below this like alternate reality of Earth or whatever, this other planet, and they're coming up and they're killing humanity. It's whatever.
Hit the nail on the head right there.
Did I?
Totally. Yeah. You did entirely.
I thought you were like describing the story. It's like, no, that's not speculation. That is exactly the truth. The story's not great. The gameplay is fun, and I do legitimately enjoy it. There is not much more in this world that is more satisfying than blind shooting someone in the head with a sniper rifle and then just watching them fall over lifeless and knowing that you didn't aim. You just kind of like bring your gun up, just like pop.
But you don't like that one mechanic from Fallout 3.
Yeah, because that's.
I'm sorry, that's my.
Would you silence your fucking
so
phone?
No. I had set an alarm. I felt really bad because I feel like I was like really missing at the beginning of the podcast.
Was it your alarm to like get out of here?
No.
Was it your alarm to
It
wake
was like
up?
it's my alarm to be like, hey, you're on 5-minute probation of like telling any jokes because you suck, and now I'm okay.
You
I'm gonna
set
go back
an
and-
alarm for that?
I'm gonna go back to another one. All right.
No.
Don't set another alarm.
Or at least put it on silent.
You know what? Tell all the jokes you want. I don't care.
I don't
Free
want-
reign.
Yeah,
It's all you, buddy. It's
just
all
don't
you.
make fun of homosexuality and say the N-word.
I did what? Who does that?
A lot of people.
Oh,
A lot of people.
Racists and homophobes do that.
Yeah, there's a name for those people.
That we just said.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So you were gonna say something before my alarm interrupted you, Derrick. I was.
Oh, you were
pointing at
talking
Derrick.
about.
Gears of War, and the main thing I was going to say is, yes, the screenshots look worse than the same multiplayer maps in the Xbox 360. But do you think it's because they are making a game that is graphically worse than Gears of War? Or do you think that they were just downscaling everything so that they could actually put the beta out at a reasonable size?
That is a tough question.
I think it's safe to jump to conclusions and assume new Gears of War will be shit, look like shit, play like shit, is shit. Boom, done, seal of approval.
2 years ago, I would have said, shut the hell up, you're being a sarcastic twat. But nowadays, that's one of those things where it's just like, I don't trust game developers to do shit correctly anymore because it's gotten too big for its own head where people are just concerned about their own profits. And so they just rush shit out the door. There are countless examples that I can name from my favorite franchises about this. And, it's...
You're
sad.
right. Like, one of the top things I've read this week was an animated GIF replacing the monologue from the beginning of Far Cry 3, I think, of the main villain. He was, like, about to kill the guy, and he's just like, you know what I hate? Pre-order games. You just pre-order the same broken game over and over and over again. And I tried it once, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then he throws you off a cliff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's my hope is that it's not bad, but I can't really make any speculations because it is a beta, and to that respect, it could be downsized down because they want to focus more on maintaining the same amount of, or the same like class of gameplay that they had for the first time around. But I don't know, just flip a coin.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to say because like there isn't to an extent, the proof is in the pudding. It's out. You can see it. It looks worse.
It looks just worse.
It looks so worse.
Like it looks
shockingly.
It looks like the difference between Wii U and N64 bad.
Maybe Wii U and Wii. Well, no, maybe like 360 and Xbox One, but backwards.
That's my feeling.
But I mean, like the main thing about it is because the beta was on my Xbox and I deleted it to make room for Batman that I haven't played. But it's like 8 gigs, and that's like really small for an Xbox One game. That's like really small.
But it's a beta. Is it like the full game?
No.
It's
But
just,
I mean,
it's
like,
just a multiplayer.
but I
beta,
mean,
right?
like, you're gonna have to think that you don't have your full story in there, but you're still gonna have like all the coding, all like a lot of the multiplayer assets, sounds and like all these kind of things that like where no matter if you have a beta or whether you have a full game, like a grand majority of it's already gonna be there.
So yeah, you're right. It's probably gonna be like 9 gigs when it comes out. Sorry.
You're fine.
No. What I'm saying is you might expect something like this to be closer to like 20 gigs. So potentially they were just cutting down all the graphics. They were cutting down all the graphics in order to just, get it out there in a reasonable size.
No, that makes sense. I just wanted to.
Now that you put it like that, it does make a little bit of sense. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I just don't trust society anymore. Not when it comes to, people's.
This just in: the man threatening to kill people doesn't trust society.
I'm shocked. More at 11.
Huh. Oh, when you put it like that.
I don't know. I just feel like with Gears of War, because it's such a big game and how like big games have been treated recently, it's been like rushed out the door. It's not like if it's going to be broken or like have some bad patches of it looking bad. It's just how broken it's going to be.
That's a very good way of putting it.
Speaking of big games that were rushed out the door, and how broken are they?
Assassin's Creed.
Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh, Batman
yes.
Arkham Knight.
Okay,
Batman
yeah.
Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight came out yesterday for us. And who knows when for everybody else? Because
And by us, you mean
you, me, and Derrick. Yes. I want to make sure I said the right name.
The three of us.
Yeah, the three of us. It came out yesterday.
Derrick. If you didn't catch that, Larry just almost forgot your name.
No, I almost forgot my name.
Oh,
That's even better. Well, at least you're considerate enough to remember your guest's name.
I am. Anyway, Batman Arkham Knight. So Batman Arkham Knight, I haven't gotten to play it yet, but from what I've been told on the Xbox One and the PS4, it runs fine. On the PC, it's a big pile of butts. Huge pile of butts. And not like hot butts. Not the kind of butts that you want to stare at.
like Tommy Wiseau's butt.
Oh,
Maybe-
yeah.
maybe
Like
not-
lumpy, gross butts. Like,
Like your butt.
yeah, like my butt. Oh. It's
Hilarious.
like if I basically went over to your computer, put my buns on the glass, and then said, have fun playing Arkham Knight.
I was thinking more of like an obese statue of David kind of thing, but that works too.
Okay. But in more technical terms, essentially, the game is locked at 30 frames a second, unless you basically like go in and like rewrite files that let you have like a higher frame rate. But it doesn't matter because the game is constantly stuttering. It's constantly dropping frames. The frame rate is entirely inconsistent. And anytime you're in the Batmobile, it completely chugs. Also, there is a thing that can happen when it's like trying to verify like the game cache, where it could just delete the save file.
And this is why I don't trust society. Seriously, how did something that big slip by? Like I get that there's a lot of technical aspects to
Yeah, because
a
like
computer.
we're like in the film industry, so like when we like export a movie, you watch it before you like hand it over or
Yeah.
like send it out to be viewed by like society.
Millions.
And so you'd think somebody'd be like, "Here, we're done with this game. Play it. Just make sure that like it opens."
Yeah, no, that's like a legitimate, that's like a legitimate thing that you would think. Isn't there a word for that? Oh yeah, it's
Like quality check.
Yes,
QC.
quality
QA testing.
I was gonna make a joke. It was like, oh yeah, it's called quality control, but you guys totally hit the punchline then. But it's true. It's how the fuck.
I have no idea how this PC version like was approved to get out, to be perfectly honest.
I don't either. I would love to hear someone backtrack their way out of that. It would be really funny to watch that interview.
The main thing that you can say is that Rocksteady themselves aren't necessarily doing the PC port. They are making it they're probably making it like optimized for PS4, let's be honest, but then bringing it over to Xbox One and then like making sure that those two games work fine because they're relatively going to be the same game. And then they're going to have an outside studio that is handling the PC port.
So that outside studio is a dick bag.
Essentially, yes. But it's still entirely, it doesn't make up for the fact that the game is so bad that WB has officially like pulled sales. If you go onto Steam right now, you cannot buy the game.
That's unfucking real. That is mind-boggling. It's so stupid.
Would you say this is like Bethesda levels of fuck up? Like Bethesda with like the mods, or is this more?
Wait,
Because
Bethesda Steam?
Bethesda Steam, because like they had to pull their mods, right? Like the whole like modding paid for mod fiasco.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's sort of a different situation. It's like they put something out there they thought people were going to like. People hated it. And so they pulled it and said, hey, sorry, we realized you guys didn't want this."
You're right. I think like the better way to look at this is, do you think this is sort of like a Halo Master Chief Collection level thing?
And it's really, yeah.
You think it's worse? Because because Master Chief didn't really get like pulled. They're just like, sorry, we're fixing it. Here's free stuff. Did the game ever get fixed?
The game, yes, it works now.
Do people play it?
Probably not as much as they would have. Still, though, and I'll defend Master Chief Collection a little bit. I understand that most people probably bought that game to play multiplayer, but you were still getting 4 single-player campaigns that, you know, regardless of bugs or whatever may have been there, did work, and you could play them, and you could play online customs. You just online matchmaking was a huge fiasco.
Yeah.
This is a situation in which you are having a single-player game that you are paying $60 for, and it is essentially unplayable.
Have people gotten like refunds for it yet?
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask.
So along with WB pulling the game from Steam, they also are making it like, they're like, here's the steps you can take to get a refund for this game if you want it.
Steps for a refund.
So
I mean, I guess it makes sense they have like something in place, but it just kind of feels like.
Well, I mean, like, this is the perfect time because Steam just started their refund program. And their refund program is that you can get a full refund, basically no questions asked, as long as it's within the first 2 hours of you playing.
And so, really, this whole thing is a big conspiracy that they did this on purpose to test Steam's refund.
Yes, exactly.
Steam messed up the game, and it's just like, here, we'll get people testing a refund. I don't know. It's like the most like undiabolical scheme ever.
that's
Except that you can get it on other platforms that aren't Steam, and it's still just as bad. But yes, sure, we'll go with that one.
interesting.
It's basically like WB made a really bad, not WB, but like a really bad port for this game was made. And there is no way that they could not have known that this was going to be a bad port. Like,
Right.
absolutely no way. But so it's one of those things where it's like, do you delay the game on PC? Do you delay the game across all platforms? Do you sell it because there will be people out there that will buy it
And will not get a refund.
and will wait until it's fixed? Or they'll be one of the lucky few that actually like can play the game, because there are some people, it's just very few and far between. It's really weird. There's like people,
they have like the magic computer that it doesn't blow up on.
Exactly. There are people like, I don't understand the whole like PC side of things, but there are people that have like better PC specs than their friends, and like the people with the worst specs are running it fine, and the people with like the high end computers can't.
Ha ha!
Sucks to be you.
Suck it, PC Master Race.
Suck it, rich friends who have more money than me that can buy cooler stuff. You dicks.
So I mean, the real question is PC dead forever?
No.
Yes.
No.
I think the real question is can I buy that shitty PC that can play Arkham Knight on eBay for like $4,000?
Oh, that'd be great.
Probably. You know what? There's
somebody I'm sure has already tried to do that.
There's
like,
some
God.
dipshit out there that I'm sure has already done it.
That's such a good idea.
There is at least one person who has done it.
what do you think I'm going to do with your amiibos, Larry?
No.
I'm a professional scalper, yo.
Hey, they're out of the box. You can't scalp nothing.
Oh, please. Together, all of these powers combined, they'll be in a box, just not like the original boxes. And I'll be like, look, they're boxed, all of them. And somebody's gonna be like, here's money. And I'll be like, cool, $100. Yeah, that works for me.
$100 would be like crazy low.
I know, but it's like $100 I didn't have before.
That's so mean.
I mean, he is making 100% profit on it. That's why stealing is the most profitable thing, kids. You make 100% profits. Only.
What I'm learning here today is the best way to get an amiibo is to hijack a truck in the UK.
Callback. But anyway, going back, speaking of bad PR moves,
Okay.
there's Bungie.
Oh, Bungie.
Yeah.
So if you guys didn't
Yeah.
hear, which I'm sure Larry can even tell the story better than me, but they were doing this interview with Bungie about the upcoming expansion for
Taken
Destiny.
King. Yes.
What?
The Taken King. That's the new
The
big
Taken
expansion.
King.
Yes.
Okay.
How many expansions are there for Bungie now? There's or not Bungie, but Destiny. Huh?
This is going to be like the third one. There's
But it's
two
gonna be a
smaller
huge
ones.
one.
This is supposed to be like huge, giant, like
this is supposed to be an
expansion.
expansion. The other two are just kind of like
DLC.
DLC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the expansion is they're doing this interview with a guy, and they're just like, yeah. So we notice
So
that,
not just a guy. This is like the creative director of Bungie.
So they're doing the interview with this guy,
They're doing this interview with this one dude. I don't
and
know if
he
he's
works for
important.
Bungie or something, and they're talking about how the different expansions can be bought, and how there's gonna be an $80 game version of Destiny that comes with all of the DLC and expansion
Yes.
together
To kind of...
with new emote stuff. You know, Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, you want me to cover this
yeah,
one?
Go
Yeah,
for
Okay.
it.
Go for it.
So
You know
the
it better
Taken
than any of
King,
us.
there's basically going to be 3 different ways you can buy Taken King. First one is if you have everything already, you can buy Taken King for $40. If you don't have everything already, if you're new to Destiny, you can buy basically a Game of the Year edition, which is going to come with Destiny, the first 2 DLC packs, House of Wolves, House of Cards, Fallen Angels, I forget what the other
Dark
one is.
Below.
Dark Below, House of Wolves, there we go. And Taken King, all of that for $60. There is also a $80 special edition of that, which gives you base game, 2 expansions, new expansion, and then you get 3 armor shaders, you get 3 new equipment items that's going to be this new equipment slot of stuff that basically can help you level up faster,
Uh-huh.
and then 3 new emotes. So in the game right now, you can sit, you can point, you can dance, and you can do a 4th one that I can't remember.
Salute.
Wave, point, sit, dance. And there's going to be new emotes that you can do. But there's 3
emotes.
special emotes that are only in this
Wow.
$80 edition.
Wow.
So
Emotes.
so Eurogamer was doing a interview with Luke Smith, who's the creative director of Destiny.
I love
A
that.
And
guy.
they were-
He's a guy.
He's a dude.
I love
He's the
that
guy.
I love that guy.
He's the
Luke
guy. And they were basically saying, here, I'll can even just read this off. So Eurogamer, final question on prices. Is it also the final question on the emotes? I'm not going to mention them again. I can't get them. But you can if you buy the collector's edition. I'm not going to buy the game
I'm not
and
buying
the
the
2
voice,
DLCs all over again. Fine, I'll drop the voices. So then Then he's just okay, but first I want to poke at you on this a little bit. Poke at me. You're feeling anxious because you want this exclusive content, but you don't know how much you want it. The notion of spending this money is making you anxious. I can see it. I do want them. I would buy them. If I fired up a video right now and showed you the emotes, you would throw money at the screen. What I'm saying is that fan frustration is not because they don't understand the proposition. It comes regardless of how cool the exclusive is. The frustration, and mine as a fan, is that the method of acquiring it requires me to re-buy content I bought a year ago. It's about value, the player's assessment of the value of the content. So basically, that's Luke was saying, yeah, you want it, you can get it, you just have to pay $80. And Eurogamer's like, I'm not going to pay $80. I already bought most of the stuff. And he's like, too bad.
What a dick. What a dick. Jesus, that's good accounting on their part. Make them buy all their shit again for more money.
But nobody wants to do that.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, nobody wants to because it seems like
But guys, you're forgetting the big picture here. New emotes. Come on,
That's great.
We can get new emotes.
guys, you're not valuing this right. I mean, the emotes are obviously the lion's share of this money. The rest of the game we made and we worked on for fucking years and years, $10 for that. $70 for the emotes.
But here's the thing, though.
Each.
So, I mean, it's not $70 for the emotes, but it is a thing that, the way that Bungie is valuing this content is that there is like a physical aspect to it too. Like you get like some kind of like steel book or, art book or whatever. But like that plus this new content is $20 more. So let's just say for the sake of argument, physical media, $10 or even $5. Let's just say $5. They're valuing, let's say like $10 to $15 is 3 shaders, 3 emotes, and like 3 special things that help you level up faster.
People would probably buy that at that price.
Yes, exactly.
I know.
Hardcore Destiny
Derrick
fans?
and I were being facetious earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Just for everyone listening, just in case you didn't catch it.
If you're a pleb or whatnot. What is a pleb? Sorry, I digress.
Are you using words you don't know?
It's called the English language, baby.
I mean, I know most of those words.
Yeah, man, if you're like a mandolin or something.
Like the instrument?
Is that what a mandolin is? I'm just kidding. Again, being facetious.
Oh, I understand now.
Yeah, it's a mandolin. It's like a harp or something.
But
I know that Mumford & Son really likes them.
Yeah.
But let's say that like you bought Destiny. Like if you
Why would I do that when I have you?
Exactly. But let's say that you didn't have me and you had to buy your own Destiny. Would you buy that for $15?
Like that whole like package? Like me personally?
Mm-hmm.
No, because I don't like buy DLC generally. I'm the wrong person to ask this.
So
Your whole setup has been denied.
So let's ask me.
Yeah. Would you buy this? Like, let's say they offered it $15 by itself. Would you buy it?
$15 for everything?
No, $15. This is just the shaders, the emotes, and these like 3 special items.
I'd buy the 3 special items for $15. You throw everything else out.
They do help you level up faster.
Yeah, the items.
Wait, how does it help you level up like after you get to like level 20?
Probably it won't.
Fuck that noise.
I don't know, man.
I mean, it depends on the shaders. Can I like look at them beforehand? Can I like test them out?
Yeah, can we have like a lemon law on this, please?
Can I like have like the why show details part? Like when I'm like when I'm on like the DLC buying page, can I like show me how my life will improve when I buy this? Can we have that for everything from now on?
Yeah, that'd be really great.
Can Amazon work on that like as their next product? Just like the digression, like
I'm pretty sure that's like the next thing they're working on.
Before I buy this like I don't know, this like laundry detergent, can I just like boop, this is what my shirt's gonna look like? They're just like, I don't know, like why can't life be more like a video game, Larry?
To answer your question, I guess I would. I'd buy the just the extra items and shaders and emotes. Fuck emotes. I'd buy all that stuff for $15.
I'm pretty sure the dance emote is the only one you need.
But I mean, what if the 3 emotes are specifically 3 exclusive dances that are only...
I only need the one.
If you could import emotes from Grand Theft Auto into Destiny, I'd be so happy.
That brings up a really good point. Like, how many emotes are in Grand Theft Auto?
A lot.
And how much does it cost you?
Nothing.
Exactly.
And it's just like, here's new emotes. Pay this much money because they're so awesome. We figured out how to animate bodies more.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we can move the hands and legs.
There is a second part to the story, though.
A second part?
Yes, just today. Breaking news. It won't be breaking by the time that you hear this.
No,
but
it'll be like a week old. Or a year.
But Bungie they still do their like Bungie Weekly update. And they put one out early in which they basically apologized for the entire debacle. They brought on Luke Smith to specifically apologize himself.
Him again?
Yeah, he was just like, hey, I realize that, well, like, I'm super sarcastic, and, like, you don't know me, though, and you're also reading this, and if I didn't know the person, and this was on a game I liked, I'd probably think that I was a big jerk, too. So, like, I'm really sorry.
Oh, what a sweet guy.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart.
They also
I take
said
back everything that I said about him.
They also said in this, hey, all this stuff that's coming in the special edition, like those new items and all that, are geared at new players. But you guys, you've been playing for a year. So as long as you've hit level 30 by the first year, so like September 15th or whatever it is, you'll get your own exclusive item set, which will have its own exclusive items, its own exclusive emotes, and like a lot more that we haven't told you yet.
I wonder if there actually is something that they're just not telling us, or they're just like, all right, we've made this promise now, let's go ahead and make it happen.
I feel like they would PR better than that if they didn't want to like make something. Like if they didn't have something lined up, they wouldn't like just say it, unless this guy is just a loose cannon. And they're just like, all right, guys.
All right, man, I'm just going to be the wild card on this one and totally fuck you all on it. But, you know, that's
because
just
like
me.
he did have the texting going for him, so he could be lying, like he meant it. And then he's just like, well, nobody could really tell what I was saying. So what if
And
I
that's
just
exactly
tell
the
them?
thing.
What if I just tell them I was being sarcastic, and then I offer stuff? Yeah, okay, let's go with that one.
Yeah, that might be the best option there. What do you think? What do you think, Other Luke? Well, Other Luke, that might be a pretty good idea. By the way, do you want some of this lamb shank? Where did you get a lamb shake? I don't know, but it's delicious. Do you want some? No, we got shit to deal with.
I feel like we're like getting a rare inner monologue from Derrick.
Huh?
I don't know if
Please
I call
go
it
on.
rare. Maybe like medium well.
Ha! It's a meat joke. I love meat jokes.
You're really like very easily amused.
Speaking of meat,
I don't want to know where you're going with this one.
there's
hang
that
on.
rust and the penis length randomizer thing.
Congratulations. That was the best transition of all time.
I want to go to this because I love your transition so much, but can I ask you like 2 more questions on Destiny before we leave
Absolutely not.
it? Please?
Okay, fine.
All right. So, number 1, it's a 2-part question. Number 1, do you think that they actually were planning to do all this stuff for longtime players before the debacle happened? And part 2, does doing this make up for the first part?
The thing is, like, I have no idea how to read this because, like, there's a couple ways. There's like, yeah, he was being sarcastic, but like, why would you be sarcastic in something like that? Like, yeah, man, yeah, like these things are so great. You throw money at the screen, like he's like inside it, like in his own joke, where he's kind of admitting it's a bullshit price. And I don't know why you would do that, but in that instance, it just means like the reporter was kind of being a little like uptight, and so like there's that reality. And there's a reality where he's like, no, man, you would totally throw money at the screen. But I don't know who in their right mind would say that seriously either, and how they would be creative director of anything. I just don't think this thing happened at all. There we go. I'm calling it. Like this situation
Never happened.
never happened. It's a ruse by Obama to distract us from like, I don't know, like black helicopters and things like that taking down the government.
Jesus.
Why can't
Obama's running for a 3rd term, and this was what he used to distract us.
Question: why can't white helicopters be attacking the government?
Because
Yo,
you'd see
racist?
them
Because you
coming.
see them.
Okay, that's fair.
And they can't jump.
Ooh, what if they were like white and like light blue, so that they were same color as clouds?
Well, that would probably be the smartest plan.
Still wouldn't be able
That's
to
what we were
jump.
distracted from. They created light blue paint for helicopters.
Guys, they still wouldn't be able to jump.
What, helicopters?
Yeah, why
I mean, they can
helicopters-
float, like sort of.
No,
They
they'd be terrible at
fly.
it.
Why do they need to jump?
Never mind. You guys are plebs. All
right.
At any rate,
Okay. No.
you keep using
Derrick,
that word.
Derrick, just threw down the gauntlet. Please explain to us, Derrick, what you were going for with that. Please.
pleb?
Yeah.
No. Before that, about the jumping helicopters.
Oh.
Was there a joke there?
Yeah, white people can't jump.
Oh.
Larry made the joke. Why can't it be white helicopters? Like, well, because you see them and they can't jump, and no one caught it.
Okay, I didn't catch that Larry said they couldn't jump, so I'm gonna blame
No,
this
no,
whole
no,
debacle.
no, hang on.
I
Larry,
made
stop.
the other
Stop.
racist remark.
Adam, I'm the one that made the white people can't jump joke. That is all.
And I'm the one that made the why can't they be white helicopters joke.
Yeah.
And I have the disease from a memento. Let's move on.
You keep saying that.
It's my excuse for why I don't know what's going on.
I haven't seen that movie either.
I hate you so fucking much. What is wrong with you? You piece of shit. Okay, to answer your question, I'm gonna answer the same way that I answered the other questions earlier. Is that I don't know what to believe anymore, just because it's gotten so fucking out of hand. Like, I want to believe that this was the whole story, and kind of in a way I do, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was just a whole PR scam. I really wouldn't be.
At the end of the day, Bungie is still trying to make good. And
At
so
the
at
end of the
least
day,
there's
Bungie-
that.
You know, Bungie is that last company that I really do truly love, even though I was never a huge fan of Destiny, but that's just because you couldn't have offline play just by yourself. But that's one thing that I'm willing to overlook.
Okay, I had a feeling this is what pleb meant, because it sounds like just like a root word of plebeian.
Yeah, it's plebeian, isn't it?
Yeah, actually defined as a member of a despised social class, a commoner, a
I
member of
could've-
the
I could've
plebs
told you
of
that.
ancient Rome. Well, then why didn't you say something?
Did you ask?
Yes,
We did.
more than once.
My bad.
Yeah, we were like, what does that mean?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Shenmue section of this week, known as Pleb.
You know what?
So, how does it feel to
be
Larry?
me.
To
be
be Larry
me.
from last week.
To be despised and yelled at and hated.
Hey, speaking of which,
Yeah, fuck
Rust!
you.
Rust.
Oh yeah, hey, let's talk about tiny
being
dicks.
forced to be a person that you don't want to be,
Yes.
and experiencing it. Yeah.
Yes. So, do you guys know how Rust works?
No.
Well, it's when
A little bit.
oxygen and iron get together and they make a thing.
Haha. Also, video games.
Hey, I'm
I liked it. I thought it was
picking-
pretty
Of course
great.
you did.
I'm picking it up from
because
Larry.
you two are the same person.
That's
this week.
my kind of humor right there.
I know.
Someone kill me, please.
Hey, threaten yourself now because you're like Larry.
I'm gonna put a bullet in my brain.
Oh, that's so
Anyway.
Oh
sad.
no! You know what? Dark places.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, so let's talk about. Is it actually called Rust?
It is. The game is actually called Rust.
Okay. For a while, I thought you were just saying Russ, and I was just like, oh, that's like your character's name is Russ.
No,
But
no,
it's
Rust.
It's Rust.
Yes, Rust.
Rust.
Anyway, so like the way that Rust works, or the way that it still does, the way that it works is that when you get it through Steam, and it's, I believe, some kind of like survival-y, not Minecraft, but like, go around, survive, kind of like that aspect of Minecraft.
Like you wake up like on an island or like somewhere, right?
Yeah,
you're
and
just,
like you wake
have
up and you're
nothing.
also completely like, you have nothing, you're completely naked.
Is that the one where like you can team up with people and you can kill other people and grab their stuff?
I believe you're thinking probably about DayZ.
Okay, that's never mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a multiplayer aspect to it, and like the main thing is that when you create your character, it basically makes a random character for you and then locks it to your Steam ID. So like, unless you got a new Steam ID, there is no way you could change your character.
And therefore, a new game, like a new copy.
Yeah,
of
like
Rust.
literally a new copy of Rust on a completely new user. And the cool thing about this is that one of the things it randomizes is your race. It actually, I mean, you're a white male. You're a white male.
Yes, everyone
I'm a
listens
white
to
male.
me.
And oh, that's right, because you can't see color. But
Oh yeah, that's the story for a different time. Long story, very short. I can't see any colors. I have rod monochromia, whatever it is.
Yeah, that sounds right. I saw that the other day.
Yeah,
On something.
it's either rod or cone monochromia. I don't remember which one it is.
No, it's cone. It's cone.
Whichever one doesn't give you terrible vision, that's the one that I have.
yeah,
Anyway.
so you legitimately can't see any race.
I can't
But-
see I can't
Because
see
rods,
any-
you can. I think rods let you see movement,
Okay.
and cone is color. I'm
We could-
sorry.
we
I
could,
just
we
needed
could
to-
literally talk about this for hours, and it would just blow all of y'all's fucking minds. But
at the end of the
let's talk
day,
about tiny dicks instead.
But at the end of the day, you do know you're a white guy because people tell you you're a white guy.
Well, that and I don't have the facial features of another ethnicity, which is true.
Yes. But now, in Rust, you could be forced to play like a black guy or like
can't I
a
be Asian?
Hispanic guy or an Asian. But like that's not your choice. Like it's sort of
It's just like life.
yes.
Yeah.
You don't choose what color skin you have unless if you're Michael Jackson.
Yes. And let me in Rust, people are racist. And people will treat you differently for being like a black dude.
Like just like
You mean like
people?
actually people playing online,
Like actually people playing online.
and not just like NPCs?
And not just NPCs. Like actual real physical people.
Will the NPCs do it though? Like at all?
No, not
Okay.
as far as I don't know if there are NPCs or not.
Gotcha.
But like actual real people will treat you differently just because they see you're a black guy.
Why?
But, like,
Because
are you
people
a-
are terrible.
Are you? Like, what are you gonna do? It's just like, haha, you're black and a nerd. Ha, you're lower class than me.
But that's how people treat each other in real life.
It's true, yeah, but it's
I mean,
just
it's,
like,
it's true, yeah, but
it's like perplexing because like how many like white racist people that play this game also get to play white? Because I feel like
I mean, you just asked a very important question without labeling the ethnicity. How many racist white dudes play this game? I wouldn't really think of a racist white dude as a person that played video games that much. I usually think of those people are like the kind of people that trap raccoons in cages in the back of their truck. And
I don't
shoot
think
them with a
you've
22.
ever played Call of Duty.
Well, that's
Yeah.
different. Like those people play Call of Duty because they don't know of any other good games. They're like 7-year-old brats who, like to call people the N-word online. And
Fair point.
This game does not seem like a game for them. Like, yeah, I get that, like, a lot of shooters have, like, really racist people in it, but those, because I think they have the mental
Right,
capacity
but like
of
this sounds like a
squirrel.
survival game, not like a
Yeah.
shooter.
Yeah. But I mean, according to the internet, there are still a lot of racist people on Rust.
Well, there are a lot of people in the world in general, and maybe it's just, like, that's weird. I don't know. I can't imagine why would, even online, is it just, like, is it, like, legitimate racism where people just, like, hunt after, like, you get a group of white people that just go out and lynch black players online? Or is it just like they poke fun at you? It's like, ha, you're black, or ha, you're Asian, or some shit like that, or ha, you're white.
I don't know the full extent of it, but like from like what I have read up on this game, like it has actually put like white people in situations where they're like, wow, for the first time, I understand racism and how much it sucks. Because like I wasn't forced to be this kind of person, but people treated me differently because I was.
Which I think is really cool for a game to do.
God, it's so cool.
That is really cool to think about. And now that you mention it like that, there are a good load of people that I would like to play this game.
And hope that they're not white people in the game, or else it would just perpetuate.
Can we just write a code in it that it's like, hey.
I mean, I'm going to guess it's
we know
probably
you're-
what like some like the white racist people probably
We know
did
you're-
is like
we know
hack
you're
and
white.
like change their.
Well, I mean, allegedly, like you can't like hack it because it's attached to your Steam ID.
That's what they said about the
Allegedly.
Pentagon.
But today we're not talking about the implications of how cool it is that
Fair
Rust
enough.
makes you think about race. We're thinking about how Rust makes you think about your wiener. So,
Please, Larry, tell me more about how this makes me think about my penis size.
so
Is it above average?
possibly, I don't know.
Interestingly enough, do you guys know what the global penis average is?
Probably smaller than I think.
Well, okay, Adam, what do you think it is?
Isn't it like 5.5 to 6?
I believe it is a half an inch to an inch smaller than my own penis.
Well
There you
said. It's actually last time I checked, it was 3.5, 3.8.
That sounds wrong.
Does sound wrong, but it's true. I'm above average.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awfully kind of you to let us in on that wonderful piece of information about you.
Larry, will that get cut?
No,
Of course
that takes
not.
effort.
No. Hey, I like people to know what I got.
And
Lady.
people in Rust will know what you got because you start off naked, as the day is long. Naked as the day you were born. Naked as a jaybird. Naked as all the other things that I didn't say and definitely said wrong.
Naked as an animal, possibly.
Sure, why not?
Naked as a newborn babe.
Yeah, that
Okay,
works
so
too.
you show up naked
So anyway,
and
so Rust has a new like patch to it, and so part of this was being able to like they added a whole lot of more things than just like race determinant, and so like your size and your face and like I believe maybe hair.
so like you are a random person generated at random.
It's height, head size, face, limb size, and more.
Does that
That
mean-
more being your Johnson.
So does this mean that there's somebody who like really got screwed by like the random number generator to get like a super tiny body and a fucking huge head?
I mean, it wouldn't be like humorously wrong, you know what I mean? But like,
Until we hack it.
you could end up with like probably like a really ugly dude with a really tiny ween if you wanted. And
Such
by
a
if wanted,
bad
I mean like you have no choice. You're just rolling.
Now,
Does height determine anything in the game? Like, can you like not reach like shelves?
I don't believe so. I think it's
Okay.
just cosmetic.
what was I gonna ask? I was gonna ask, is weight a factor that like it's played into that, or
As far as I could tell, no.
okay, because I was wondering like in this realm of things that you can't change, it's like, well, what about weight? Like, can you make your like in the first Fable, you could like make yourself really fat, and you could also lose weight, or was that Fable 2?
I think it's Fable 2.
That was Fable 2. That was Fable 2. But I guess if that's not a factor, it doesn't really matter to what I was thinking. Because, I don't know, this game does seem really interesting just because I like the concept of not having control because it's more lifelike. Weird but interesting.
Well, I mean, it's like not having control, but also getting a completely different experience from your own.
yeah.
But now, do you think that in the same way you could get a different experience in race, you say that you're larger than average. What if you roll in Rust and you end up as a dude with a really tiny ween? Do you think you'll learn more about yourself and about life? Or do you think it doesn't matter?
Probably. I mean, I don't really, I was going to say I don't really think people would point that out that much, but given the fact that there are racist bigots on this game, then maybe. I don't know. I mean, I never said I was massive, but it's, I'm just above average.
So do you think that there's gonna be like a point where it's just like they're gonna make a club, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, I'm part of your club." I'm like, "Pull down your pants. Let me see your
That'd be
wings."
so cool, actually.
What? That'd be fucking
No,
terrible.
and then you can't get into the club because your randomly generated penis size is too small.
I mean, you could learn a lot about life. People discriminating based on like
God, this
traits
is
that
like an
are
extra perverted form of Lord of the
completely out of your
Flies.
control.
This is literally like an extra perverted form of Lord of the Flies.
And what were you saying, Larry? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
No.
first part.
I mean, that would actually be really cool if something like that happened, because it would be a different way to sort of like understand discrimination, like through your Johnson. Because you'd be like, for the first time I was discriminated against because of something that was entirely out of my control, and there's nothing I could do to change it.
This is the most awkward and strange conversation.
I don't think there's anything awkward
Derrick
about it.
is just cracking up over here.
I think it's actually really cool.
I agree. I think it's cool.
I don't think it's quite as revolutionary as like the skin tone.
The skin tone, yes. Because I'm not sure how many people are actually going to be going around and saying, "Hey, let me see your character's ween."
Get into the exclusive Johnson Club. the creator.
So I guess what I'm
I'm
saying is, let's go play Rust and we'll make the exclusive Johnson.
Depending,
And the world's average is going to be just calculated off of the average of us three.
So depending, the Johnson Club will either be the club exclusively for dudes with like huge dongs, or the club exclusively for dudes with like tiny wings.
I'm just imagining like in the future they'll just make a DLC where you can bash people to death with your dick, and then there'll just be a caste system made off of people who have different sized penises. Like the people with smaller penises are like the farmers and workers, and people with bigger dicks are like warriors.
So some are like literally born to lead.
Like some are literally born to lead with their dick. It gets erect and it points the way home.
Whole new meaning, like strode to the room, dick first.
What the fuck? There was some deep conversation about race and racism, and then we started talking about dicks, and this is the same game.
But we could have that same. We could almost have the same thing from the wieners.
The same thing.
And this
same
is something we're
thing.
still talking about. This is just baffling. Oh my god, I gotta go shake the producer's hand of that, because he's done something amazing. Oh my god.
I have another sweet transition ready.
Another sweet transition? Do it.
Speaking of an island full of nothing but men, let's talk about Fire Emblem. It's
And this is the portion of the podcast where I just sit down and zone out, because I know nothing
Speaking
about
of-
They never stopped us before.
Speaking of men, okay. Speaking of a bunch of dudes comparing each other's weens, let's talk about Fire Emblem. Is that better?
C+. You pass.
I'd give you a solid.
I might change my mind because I think you're getting there, but I'm like, is that really what's going on in the new Fire Emblem?
No. So
No.
anyway, what is going on in the new Fire Emblem is it has been confirmed, because Fire Emblem Fates in the US, Fire Emblem If in Japan, is coming out this week, and it has been confirmed that you can have same-sex relationships in this game.
So yay for them being progressive. Hooray.
Adam Bailey, you play Fire Emblem. Is this a big deal?
Yeah, because it's always been same-sex relationships in the games, and so
Wait, always been opposite-sex relationships.
fuck. I'm sorry. My words got mixed up there for a second. Yeah, opposite sex, heteronormative relationships in the game.
Heteronormative. That's a good word.
Yeah, it is a really good word. Thank you.
I gotta remember that. That's fancy.
And it's it's never really bothered me before, but it is one of those things where it's just even games, big games are letting people have the option to have same-sex relationships now. So I feel Fire Emblem needs to catch up to that, because relationships are such a big part of that game that it makes sense that you're going to have some gay characters in there that are going to do that. And so it's even sometimes in some of these games, the main characters, which are all men, get really close. And you're like, come on guys, just make it official.
Just kiss already.
Come on, just get it, just make it Facebook official.
And I would say that I think this is good for Nintendo, because this is a big step from last year with Tomodachi Life, which was a game that was literally there's nothing to it other than like people hanging out on an island having relationships.
Yeah, like
And-
which I think it'd make even more sense for Tomodachi Life.
It would
And Fire
entirely.
Emblem, yeah.
But no, I mean, my question was because I've never really played much Fire Emblem, and I definitely like haven't played the most recent one that had like, you know, marriage and stuff.
I played a couple of them. I played the shit out of this last one though, and I really liked it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, Awakening. Right?
Awakening, yeah.
So, I mean, my question is like, I guess so I have a couple questions actually. Like, how important is the relationship aspect? And like, how many relationship choices do you get?
I'd say relationships can vary how important they are to you. Like if you just want to like blow through the game, they're probably not that important at all. But at the same time, like especially in Awakening, more so than I saw in other games, like you team up with people who are adjacent to you, and whoever your bond is like strongest with, like you two attack together, and it's really cool. And so like sometimes they're like there to like block a shot from you, or like just lend like they lend you strength. And so the stronger your relationship with a person is, the stronger like the bond, the stronger the bonus is.
Okay.
But it's also a lot of fun because like you're with these characters who you're kind of afraid might die at any point in the battlefield. It's like you're already really engaged with these characters, and so it's cool to see these characters engage with each other. And so part of the fun, like a lot of JRPGs, is kind of like getting these characters to like grow in friendship. And so it's like even same-sex characters will like grow in friendship, but like they'll never like marry.
Okay.
And things like that. So like you're still like building relationships with everyone. But generally speaking, this is to answer your second question, any like character could pretty much marry any other character of the opposite sex. Like there really isn't any like limitations in that, so you can really do your own matchmaking of whoever you want. Like sometimes it's sort of kind of hilariously like Pokemon, where you're just kind of like trying to like get like the best stats and the best power-ups.
Min-maxing through boning.
Yep. And then for some of it, you're just like, I just genuinely think these two characters would be together because I really think that like their cutscenes made the most sense. I feel like these people would just be friends. Like sometimes like you get to like the end, you're like, it feels kind of like a forced like marriage thing, like it's just there. But others like make more sense, which I thought was really cool. I was like, okay, yeah, I can see these people like make sense to like be together.
Okay.
And so yeah, I feel like to get a really deep, involved like playthrough of Fire Emblem, yeah, relationships are super important. And so I think by acknowledging that there actually would be like homosexual relationships in there is actually kind of cool.
All right. So now I have a couple more follow-up questions actually, and you can chime in on this too, Derrick.
Okay.
But now I'm going to kind of go over the limitations of the homosexual relationships and see if that changes your mind any. So Fire Emblem is actually going to be, there's essentially 3 versions of the game that are coming out. One of
Really?
them, yes.
Ugh.
So one is Fire Emblem Fates
So it's kind of like
Conquest.
Pokemon Red, Blue.
So it's
Red,
actually
blue, and yellow. Does
it's
Pikachu
actually-
follow you around one of them?
I wish. So it's actually there's
That was a really good Pikachu. I'm so sorry, Larry. I had
No, it's okay.
That was a really good Pikachu. Okay.
So actually, I'm a little bit more worried about it than that. Not to just tip the scale on how I feel about this, but
Tip the scales. See, people who play Fire Emblem will get that you made a joke there. It's okay.
I did.
Yep. Because
Oh, Larry, you made a
Robin's
joke.
big thing is like time to tip the scales. Like play Super Smash Brothers. You'll hear it like all the time.
I just hear my rage every time you're playing
Like
as Robin.
or well, yeah, that too. Thoron. I just made Larry hurt a little bit inside, but yeah,
Thoron?
actually
The
when
element Thoron?
the Robin's character introduction says Robin tips the scales.
Oh, what do you know? I didn't realize.
This hour on Adam Explains How Larry's Clever.
Thank
To Larry.
Yes.
To Larry, while Larry doesn't know what he's talking about.
So there are 3 versions of Conquest that are coming out, and do you know kind of like the?
You mean Fates?
Yes, sorry. Three versions of Fates that are coming out. And do you know sort of like the general story of it? Basically, like you're playing through, there's sort of like a, 2 very warring factions. And so you're playing through and it's like you have a point where you choose which faction you want to join with. So you can join with like these people, and it's like the one side gives you like a more like old school Fire Emblem experience. The other side gives you more like a new school Fire Emblem experience. If it doesn't matter which version of the game that you buy, you can like download the like third path, once you like own the game, and that's like I'm gonna do it my own way and like not side with either of you guys.
That's cool.
But
Interesting.
the one thing I don't like though is that you play like the first like 4 chapters of the game are exactly the same, and then that point where you choose what happens is determinant on which game you bought.
And so you don't really get to
You don't
choose.
really get a choice.
So basically what you're saying is that all 3 of these games could have been in one thing. It's just the Paragon or the Renegade.
It's not Paragon or Renegade because it's not like good side, bad side. It's just one side, other side.
Yeah, like which one? Like,
Left
yeah, I don't
foot,
like that
right
because it
foot.
feels like you want to like figure out who you identify more with in game.
Yeah, so to be able to choose which one you want, you'd probably have to buy it like online.
I don't want to buy 3 games though to like get like the full experience. Like it's kind of cool that they have these big games. I mean, I guess so long as each game is a big, fully fleshed game, I might be a little bit more okay with that. But I still, it's like Destiny. Like I don't want to buy the game again.
Yeah, and that is sort of the idea, like that you're getting like the majority of the game is like once you choose a side.
This is why I have trust issues.
Interesting sidebar with this. My initial reaction to any game that's just like, we're going to have multiple story paths. What happens? You choose your own adventure. Is like, it like muddies the canon a little bit, and you have no idea like what actually ever really happened. The nice thing is like Fire Emblem games are sort of self-contained enough that I feel like this actually might work.
Okay.
Like I feel like there's definitely callbacks. I mean, like Awakening in a big way calls back to the first one. So I feel like there's still a canon in here, and so like it might still suck because eventually they might have like Nintendo might have to choose like which one it is, or they're probably gonna do the obvious cop out, which is there's the same ending for all 3, which would really blow because I hate that. Like I just don't like. Ugh.
But now, along with the fact that there are 3 different versions of the game, you know, like 3 branching paths that all are like separate purchases, basically. The way that the same-sex relationships are in Fire Emblem Fates Birthright Edition is where you have your female-female same-sex relationship.
That's the only one.
Well,
They split them all up.
Well, that is on Bright. On the Conquest side is your male-male relationship. And if you go for that third path where you don't really choose a side, you can get both relationships.
So I'm guessing it sounds like there is only like one character.
It's basically like one character. Yeah, one character on each side.
So one character can be a lesbian, one character can be
gay,
and then like there's one. It sounds like both of those characters you can have access to in the middle.
In the
path.
third, yeah.
Oh, that's.
So it's still kind of like their cop out, which I guess at the same time makes sense though. Like, you know, I feel like, I don't know, I'm kind of going back and forth between this in my head. Like that, I don't like the fact that it's separated out between 3 different games. That sounds kind of weird.
I mean, you know what's gonna happen, right?
What?
6 months down the line, they're gonna release all 3 in one package.
Probably.
Well, they did in Japan.
They did.
Just there's no like word on whether they'll do that in America yet. But yeah, in Japan you can buy.
They've already done it in Japan.
And it is more expensive. Like it would be roughly the equivalent of like, you know, the game would be like $80 to get all 3 paths, basically.
But it's already available in Japan.
It's coming out this week.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
sounds
it's
like
gonna
it's
come out in
you know,
America.
3 games for the price of 2 instead of buying 3 games for the price of 3.
Yeah. But I mean,
Which
and
is
basically
still
like the
a piece of
pricing
shit.
though, a la
Which
carte,
I would still wait for
the
that.
pricing a la
before I get
carte
it.
would basically be like 40 for Birthright, 40 for Conquest, 20 for the third experience. So like you're getting $100 and then like $80, you know, instead. So, but like, do you think it's a big deal that there's only one homosexual option and it depends on which game you buy?
I mean,
I think the biggest problem is probably which game you buy, because like I feel like that should be in both games. Although at the same time, though, like, let's like take a step back. It sounds like these characters are branch specific, and so they're characters that you're gonna pick up. Like if you choose one branch, like you're gonna get like the lesbian character is going to become part of your team during that branch,
Yes.
not the other.
Mm-hmm.
And so on a certain story level, it makes sense because you're also like you don't need to like. I understand from a storyteller perspective not feeling the need to shoehorn in, you know, more than one character for this specific reason.
Okay.
And for them only being one, you know, I feel like some people are going to want to be able to make whatever characters they're playing, whatever sexuality they want.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, like sexuality really isn't something that you get to choose. And statistically, you know, yeah, there's going to be less people who are homosexual than people who are straight.
Exactly.
And so, like, certain level, yeah, I certainly understand that. I think it might be more true to statistics. At the same time, though, I probably am not the best person to ask that either. And hey, why isn't there a bi character? Or maybe the person who gets into one of those relationships is bi. Can go either way.
That is a possibility. Yeah, you know that one of those
possibility.
Because yeah, they're just saying that like, hey, your male options here and your female options here, but they don't say whether that they are specifically like completely gay or if they are bisexual.
Right, and it's also like for Nintendo, especially like you say, coming off of Tomodachi Life, maybe a company that hasn't been the most socially progressive company. This is a huge step for them. Don't ask for too much all at once.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess it's safe.
It's a safer bet, so
I suppose
we applaud them for being safer, I guess.
Hey,
for being
progress.
For actually progressing.
Good for you, for
Derrick.
being
Derrick, you were going to say something?
progressive. You were talking about how it was an interesting thing that I was thinking about the other day in regards to Mass Effect Andromeda. What do you think? Because you were talking about how it could possibly have the same ending, and then the canon of the last game sort of plays on into it. What do you guys think is going to happen with the ending of Mass Effect 3 in regards to Andromeda? How are they going to handle that? Because Mass Effect's always been one of those games that's just been so based on what you did beforehand that it just seems like one of those things that
we're really like branching off.
Yeah.
In this one, it's like we.
Sorry, I thought of this.
Well, it's like the character, like the tree came up, the dialogue path, and now we're going to Mass Effect.
Yeah, sorry, I just.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it was just.
No, I think it's a good question.
It rattled on in my head, and so I was, what I think was happen. What would happen is that, you would obviously have to fill out like some sort of like summary of what happened, like who lived, who died, what did you do, everything like that.
Well, yeah, it's like Mass Effect 2, where they didn't actually have a system in place to like record everything that happens. Like you don't get to save like the end of the game.
Yeah,
and so they had like Miranda's asking you like, so we're gonna test your memory. Who did you save? Oh yeah, that's right. That's who you saved. We're gonna mark that down right here. Did you kill the guy? I don't know. It's just like that's what it felt like. It's like, yeah, we're just testing you.
Or if you were playing on the PlayStation 3, you literally had a comic that allowed you to make the choices for the first game. Because the first game didn't exist when the second game came to the console.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's still pretty cool. I imagine it's either A, they're going to be like, stuff's happening over in the Milky Way, and they don't have to deal with it right now. Like, oh man, Shepard died, the end. Like, you don't have to like tell any more than that. Or they will ask about like what happened.
Or a thought that could be potentially like really interesting. What if Mass Effect Andromeda takes place during the Mass Effect trilogy?
I was actually thinking about that myself, where it's like a secret mission where they sent it out there.
Yeah, they just sent them out to the Andromeda Galaxy. And
Well,
so
also-
it doesn't affect anything.
Well, also, actually, if you think about it in like a bit more realistic terms, the things that happened at the end of Mass Effect probably haven't like echoed out to Andromeda yet, because you have that like thing where you're looking at the Milky Way, like you see all of the Milky Way, and you see like the energy burst go out, whatever color it is, depending on like whatever choice you made that's doing the thing. Like, remember, that's like billions upon billions of light years away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It takes a long time for all this stuff to happen.
Well, because it doesn't happen to any other galaxy. It only happens at the Milky Way.
Yes.
Yeah, it only affects the Milky Way. It doesn't reach out to Andromeda.
Yeah. I think, honestly, clean break. Because,
break?
like,
I think so,
you could have a thing, and you would just, like, I mean, you could even have it take place really shortly after the end of Mass Effect 3, if you wanted to. And it would basically be like, you have these people, like, obviously we still have humans, we still have somebody that's a part of N7, and it could just be a thing where it's like, wow, we just lost complete and utter contact with, like, everybody that we could contact in the Milky Way. Something big just happened, and we have no idea what.
But something big's going on right here.
Yeah.
And
But, like, we don't
Andromeda.
have time to worry about what the big thing is that's going on over there.
But by bringing that up, though, by them going, something big happened over there, like, you already put in the audience's mind, you need to answer what that is later. Like,
Yeah.
they need to find out what happened in the Milky Way, and you're gonna have to like answer like what your choice was.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's almost completely
Because
an
of
unavoidable
how
thing.
catastrophic the ending of Mass Effect 3 is. You have three separately huge different things that happened at the end of that.
Yeah.
You either got to ignore that completely, or you got to like make a choice in how that factors in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of it could just be like setting the story before the events, during the events, or just like
Immediately
complete
after.
clean break where you don't even talk about it.
I don't think it's the possibility of it being a completely clean break is just so small for me because of just how much Mass Effect has been built upon story, and the only way
the first 3 Mass Effects were built upon story, built upon each other, but I feel like now that we're getting a new trilogy, a clean break is not out of the question.
I don't think that's possible.
I'm actually more curious, and this actually might answer some of this other stuff, is how they got to Andromeda in the first place.
That is a question that I'm
Because
wondering. And then on top,
like the mass, what are they called again?
The Mass Effect relays.
The mass relays. Sorry, I was going like the mass cannons. Like they're not cannons. Like,
Pew!
they're like there's slingshots. So like they are sort of like that. But yeah, the mass relays. Are you gonna have one that can actually shoot across that much space? Because Andromeda is really fucking far away.
well, they don't, because if any of you are like me and actually like listen to all the codecs of the mass relays, there are no mass relays that shoot outside of the galaxy. They're either affixed to a certain point, or there are smaller relays that have smaller distances that shoot to any direction you want. You just have to calibrate it before you go into the system.
Right.
So there are no relays that could shoot to Andromeda. So that's something that I am really curious
Unless
about.
they like find a really, really big one in like the center of the Milky Way.
Or maybe Garrus was just working on those calibrations.
There you go.
God damn it, Larry.
Garrus's calibrations. Hey guys, we can go do Andromeda now.
Yep. We can go to
Shepard,
Andromeda
now that I finished calibrating that booty, it's time to calibrate our way to Andromeda.
I mean, but the thing is like, oh, that's right. The mass relays aren't Prothean. So
No, they're not. They're spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't played Mass Effect 1. They're Reaper.
right. Well, they're like the people who originally came up with the idea for the Reapers.
Well,
The Reapers are constructs themselves where that like go around and wipe out people. Spoilers. They wipe out new civilizations to prevent themselves from creating machines that wipe themselves out.
yeah.
And so, which is, I really, by the way, I loved that. I don't know how many people actually liked that ending, but I fucking loved that.
I like the ending. Well, it's also like, spoiler alert, I got the synthesis ending, which I felt was like the most thematically accurate.
Yeah,
for
synthesis
that story.
felt the most thematically accurate to me as well. Like that felt like the only like true path to go.
You know,
Yeah.
like I had a lot of things that like lined up very well. Like I made sure that the Quarians and the Geth like made peace. So like you have this idea of just like there was this recurring theme of like synthetic and organic really aren't that different, and like they can coincide together. And so yes, synthesis made sense where it's like, oh, hey, we're gonna make everything sort of like partly
Organic and part
partly
synthesis.
synthetic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because like
agree.
that felt like the only way to like not make the cycle like happen again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's either like, let's control stuff, and so one person's gonna control the Reapers and like rule the galaxy with an iron fist, like a douche.
Yeah. Or you're
Or
gonna,
you're gonna kill the Reapers and the Geth.
yeah, and like any or synthetic race. And,
Right.
Yeah.
So including Edie.
Yeah. That's a part of it too. It's just like
Yeah.
you have buddies. You have Edie, you have
And that's
Legion.
not gonna prevent anyone from creating synthetic, intelligences later that haven't learned the same lesson as Edie and the Geth.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so like, yeah. It's,
Or they would read the history and be like, "Oh my god, Shepard killed everybody? That's not cool."
well, obviously we need to kill them before they kill us again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so incredibly excited for Mass Effect Andromeda just because I have so many questions about what's going to go on. Because I had actually thought that the new Mass Effect game was going to take place in between 2 and 3, and was just going to be sort of like an ODST type thing, where it was just like a little thing that took place in the middle of it. But man, I'm so excited.
Yeah, for going Shepard, just like Shepard is gone. I really like that they're doing that. They're sticking to their guns and isn't just like magical resurrection.
I'm pretty stoked for Mass Effect. Do love me a good story in video games.
Yep, do love me a good story in video games.
Well, I think that we are actually like really over time. So that means we don't have time for our last story. So basically there's no discussion. It's just last week Xbox sold 100 units in Japan. That means they're doomed. Sorry, goodbye Microsoft, you're done.
That doesn't mean they're doomed.
Oh yeah, it does. 100 units, they're done.
Not in Japan.
Done forever.
Maybe in Japan, but not in
Xbox
America.
loses worldwide. Japan says everything. It's all over.
Side note, 3.8, really?
What?
Average?
I'll look it up. We'll talk about this later.
Okay. Well,
Xbox
you've been
isn't
listening to whatever we're calling this thing.
I think we're just at this point just like the now joining podcast. Is
I
basically what
I like now joining.
The Now Joining Podcast.
the now joining podcast.
Episode 2. Or Episode 1, since it wasn't officially named the last time.
No, I mean it's named on YouTube.
The Academy would call it an adaptation.
This is the biannual inaugural coming at you
Coming at you live.
Bye, guys.
later.
Latest on the Minjay.
Are we gonna tell them to like and comment and subscribe and stuff?
Fuck off.
Oh, okay.